bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous face pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous face pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete.
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Sebring International Speedway here this evening for what is going to be an action-packed day of racing action here at Sebring, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is a track that I haven't really seen before. I haven't really done any races here. I actually had just bought the race package, the track here at Sebring, so this is kind of the first time I'm getting a good look at it. I'm kind of learning the track in all of its twists and turns, but it looks like it is a very, very technical racetrack that could prove plenty difficult for the drivers here this evening, which could make for a lot of fun, could make for some craziness, could make for a lot of great racing action. It's going to be fun to see what these guys are going to be able to do, how they're going to be able to maneuver through these corners, how they're going to be able to put themselves into a position to potentially try and win this race here this evening, as it's going to get wild. It's going to get pretty, honestly, it's going to get pretty insane in a quick curry here this evening, and I think for a lot of these drivers, it's going to prove pretty difficult, not only just to keep yourself in the race or, towards the front of the field, but just trying to keep yourself on track for 50 laps, I think is going to be a very, very tough thing to do. So for all these drivers, even our pole sitter and some of the road course ringers, I think it's going to get pretty wild here with no caution flags except for our stage break at the completion of lap number 15. So at the lap 15 marker, we will throw a competition caution flag, which will allow all these drivers to, potentially make their first pit stops or try to play some of that strategy where they want to try to earn some of those stage points, maybe try to stay out a little bit longer. I'm not too sure on how far they're going to be able to make it here. 70% fuel capacity, so they may have to pit before that first stage, which could really mix things up. Do you try to go for the stage points, try to make a little bit of a quicker pit stop by only getting that couple gallons of fuel, enough to get to the end of that stage and then come back down pit road at the stage break? That could be a big brain play for a lot of these drivers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, how they're going to be able to navigate this racetrack, and we're going to be here for all of the craziness. As starting on the pole in the number 92 ride is Clinton Woodby. Woodby will start in the pole position here this evening, which is not a bad spot to start here today. To his outside in the second spot will be the 51 machine of Tyler Stevenson. Back in that third position will be the 318 ride of Matthew Catania. To his outside in the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 machine, that is Rusty Modesty, is starting in position number 5. In the 196, that is Caleb Kleinert. To his outside in the 6th position, the 01 ride, that is Rooster Rodden. In position number 7 will be that number 31 of Paul Durkee, starting in position number 8 in the 27 ride. That is the Napa Auto Parts machine of Nick Gardner. Starting in 9th is the 20 ride, that Masked Owl Technologies number 20 of Justin Lawson. To his outside in the QH Designs Metalheads Truck Series number 00, it is it's actually Colton Hardy who will start there in that 10th position. Nate Cogdell in his QH Designs winning bid number 00. That's Nate Cogdell there in 11th. To his outside will be the 3 of Keith Prince in that Sherwin-Williams number 3 machine, starting there in 12th. Wyatt Mickelson, Ryan Haller bring up row number 7 with Jesse Calloway and Ashley Ellison Jr. there in row number 8. Bruce Bernard and Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back in 17th and 18th. Then we see John Herbert, Harold Rothery, and Michael Newman bringing up the rear of the field as 21 drivers get ready to battle here this evening, as Mark Jackie Miller says, "Good luck, Prince," cheering on Keith Prince here this evening, as Keith will be looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane here today for what is going to be a bit of a wild one. It's going to be crazy. I think this is going to be a lot more difficult, a lot more stressful for these drivers than what they are anticipating. I did a few laps here earlier this morning when I bought the racetrack. I hopped in here. I did a couple laps. I didn't even hook the wheel up. I just used the mouse to navigate my way around the racetrack. And I got to tell you, even with a mouse, it's probably a little harder with a mouse than it is a steering wheel and pedals. But it is definitely tricky, man. You get off the racetrack ever so slightly into that grass, it kind of just pulls you into it or turns you around. And and it gets pretty wild in a very, very quick hurry here at this racetrack. So these guys are going to have to be on their A game. They're going to have to make sure that they do not make a mistake, that they do not put themselves into some of these bad situations that could really take them out of this race. As we'll get them all ready to rock and roll here. Paint truck soon to make that hard left-hand turn and jump off of the racetrack, as right now they're about 70% of the way around the speedway here. So we should see that green flag come out very, very soon, as they're going to go through a couple of those S's here. They're going to make another tight right-hand turn, and they're going to be looking to try and get themselves lined up here. So they're going to head down. I do believe this is called the Ullman straight, the Ullman straight here, as they just exited the Lamosse corner there. So they're down the Ullman straight. They'll set into Sunset Bend, which is corner number 17, and then they'll be set loose straight away just around this next corner. So for each and every one of these drivers, they know it's time to shine. It is time to be released here today and try to put themselves up and into victory lane. Is down through Sunset Bend. And on the exit here, we'll kind of see that paint truck make that hard right-hand turn back down pit road. And for these drivers, they will see the green flag fly as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing here at Sebring International Speedway, as they're already 2-3 wide down into corner number 1 here at Sebring. Tight corner here. They're going to get a good exit, but it gets tight right there on that corner exit, 3 wide. My gosh, that almost did not work, but Tyler Stevenson out in front, able to take the early lead down through corner number 3 and 4 here at Sebring. A nice tight roll right here. It's going to be tough to get through there. Too wide and not go off the grass. There you go. You do see the 0-1 rooster on and goes up and off the grass right there. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it. We see a couple more drivers going through that grass as they head down through the Big Bend here. Down and out of the Big Bend. So far, everyone, for the most part, able to keep themselves pointed the right direction, but we do see a couple drivers deeper in the field here. John Herbert in the 12 ride, Michael Newman having a little bit of a rough go trying to get through corner number 5 here. So there goes that 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. contact between the 87 and the 33 ride. The 33 goes for a loop-de-loop. The 87 and 12 have to get stopped, checked up. Luckily enough, able to keep on rolling as they head down. I do believe this is into the Cunningham or Collier corners, which is corner number 10 and 11 here at the Speedway, down through corner number 12 and into the Tower corner here in corner number 13. And this is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how all these drivers are going to be able to remember all these different areas here. Let's see if we can get this. So this is going to show the car number. So the car number for each driver, you should be able to see it there slightly, but I can get a good look here at this track map, as you do see one driver way back there, deeper in the field. It is the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley's ran into a couple issues here, a couple off-track problems. Luckily enough, not too much damage, able to keep on rolling here, but for the 133, already quite a ways behind the rest of the field, as down in through the Sunset Bend for the first time here this evening. Lap number 1 will be led by that C4 Energy number 51 of Tyler Stevenson. So Stevenson leads the first lap of the day, as Matthew Catania, his teammate, right there behind him. Clinton Woodby, Rusty Modesty, and Caleb Kleiner rounding out our top 5. So 3 of the always amazing, always super fast hot rods out there on the racetrack for Team CCR Esports. Right now running pretty good here. Technically they got 5, so they do have Nick Gardner as well in that team. So they got a 5-car team, including Tyler Stevenson, Matthew Catania, who's at 1 and 2, Caleb Kleinert, and Nick Gardner, who sit back in 5th and 6th. So 4 of the 5 inside the top 6 right now for the CCR Esports team. Unfortunately, a bit of a rough start here for Ashley Ellison Jr., but there is still a lot of time and a lot of opportunities to try to work yourself back up towards the front here, especially knowing that we will have a competition caution later in this race. But again, Ashley Ellison Jr. going to run into more problems. Looks like he's going to take that ride down pit road here, maybe looking to get some damage repair, or maybe try to get some tires here, or just play some different strategy. But unfortunately, looks like, yeah, right there, you see that rear end damage, pretty solid rear end damage as he exits Sunset Bend right there and heads down pit side here. And unfortunately, early on, not the way Ashley Ellison Jr. wanted his day to go. As everyone slowly but surely trying to just migrate their way towards the front, and the best way to do that is just keep yourself on the racetrack. But right now, being very, very quick here in the early goings is this 51 of Tyler Stevenson. You see Matthew Catania reeling him in, though, as the rowdy NOS Energy number 318 starting to reel him in a quick hurry here. Clinton Woodby falling back a little bit from their back bumper as these drivers, they're gonna start their DRS right now. They're gonna hope that they can find a run and a drive here to maybe make some passes down this Ullman straight here at Sebring International Speedway, as you do see that 92 rider Clinton Woodby. He's hoping to try to work his way back out in front. Modesty sticking right there with him. Caleb Kleiner back in 5th, and now we do see Paul Durkee working his way up and into position number 6 here. So the quick lane 31 ride having himself a pretty solid start here as well for Paul Durkee, able to jump up into 6th, getting around Nick Garner. Garner falls back to 7th, as we do see Tyler Stevenson. Oh, brother, Stevenson off the racetrack here. Uh-oh, this is not good. So for our race leader, Tyler Stevenson, pressure was being put on, and we see his teammate working to his outside here. Matthew Catania able to steal the race lead away from him, and then just getting onto the binders a little too much. Gets into a wheel hop. Luckily enough, avoids any contact with that fence, and able to get it pointed back in the right direction, but does lose about 3 more spots and falls all the way back into position number 5. As we did see Jesse Calloway down and off the track as well. Luckily enough, got that thing pointed back in the right direction there himself, and for Callaway, able to keep on rolling here. Now we did see Ashley Ellison Jr. get back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately here, early on for Ashley, already finds himself a lap down out there on the racetrack, so not a super fun spot to be for the 133 this early in the race. As the 318 of Matthew Catania now rolls into position number 1 on the racetrack here, looking really strong, looking very solid here in this feature event already, as he's almost 2.5, 3 seconds ahead of Rusty Modesty. So he's got a pretty good jump here early on. The only thing is that you don't want to burn your stuff up too quick. You still got a lot of laps left to go until we complete this first stage. So you kind of just want to make your way to that stage. You don't really need to pull too far out in front. You can kind of just sit back, maybe not show them everything you got, or show them all the raw speed that you may have out there on the racetrack. Gonna leave a little bit for surprise for maybe the second half of this feature event, as the only yellow flag we will have throughout this race is our stage break at the completion of lap number 15. And for these drivers, they just completed lap number 3. So for Catania, Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby, they have just finished their 3rd lap of this race, when it takes you, just over 2 minutes, about 2 minutes and 11 seconds, 12 seconds or so to complete a lap here around this racetrack. It's a long distance, and it's a lot of time, so you don't have to really push too hard here. You got a lot of laps, a lot of time to slowly but surely navigate your way up towards the front. As WTM Gristo says, let's roll number 3. Let's roll number 3. Cheering on Keith Prince out there on the racetrack. Prince now finds himself in position number 12. I do believe Prince just ran into a little bit of issues here. He was battling just inside the top 10. He was rolling in that 10th position out of corner number 1. Just gets loose, starts to get sideways, almost goes around. Luckily enough, able to catch it, able to keep it rolling in the right direction, and luckily enough, hangs on here for that 12th position, but does see about 3 more cars get around him right there. So that is not a fun spot to be, but luckily enough, no major damage, no major issues, and for Keith Prince, able to keep on rolling. Now Jimmy Fitzmaurice going to run into issues. Jimmy's got some problems here. He's gotten a little bit of damage on that 33 ride. Luckily enough, he's got her pointed back in the right direction. Rolling again, looking to try to just hang on here. I think for a lot of these drivers, that's what this race is going to really produce. I think a lot of these cats are just going to be trying to hang on for maybe dear life throughout this race. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a bit of a grind here, and especially for a lot of these drivers that aren't road course ringers, that aren't really road course racers, it just makes things that much tougher, that much more, intense when you come to a racetrack like Sebring. And you don't normally run a racetrack, or a racetrack that you normally don't see, especially when it comes to these NASCAR trucks. Most NASCAR trucks, drivers have probably never even seen this racetrack, or maybe not even heard of this racetrack, and that makes things very, very interesting because they've never raced here in the real-life NASCAR Truck Series, so it's not like going to Watkins Glen, where at least you kind of know the track layout by watching them on TV, or if you go to, Charlotte Road Course, the Roval, or you go to, what are a couple of the other road courses that we have in the NASCAR schedule? The Daytona Road Course, even the Indianapolis Road Course. You've seen those. That's the one in California there. Not Watkins Glen. What's the other one? What's the other road course, chat, that I'm thinking of? There's a couple of them that I'm thinking of, and I just can't think of them. That's interesting. But for Matthew Catania, I don't know if he's gotten a lot of practice or if he's just got the knack here for these road courses, but he's just looked very, very stout throughout the first portion of this race. Rusty Modesty and Clinton Woodby are going to stick it with them. He hasn't really pulled away. He hasn't really started to run away with this one, but they're sticking right there with them. Tyler Stevenson, who we saw make that one mistake as he was getting past for the race lead, still sitting there in that fourth position with Caleb Kleinert back there in fifth. Paul Durkee there in that sixth spot with Nick Gardner right there behind him. This is a great battle for that fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh position. One slip up, one mistake. Sonoma, thank you. That's the one I was looking for, Sonoma. I knew there was another one. I knew that was the one. Sonoma is the track that I was thinking of right there. As Blanche in the chat says, let's get it done, old man. Cheered on the old man Durkee here this evening. And says, great save. You got this, Woodby, says Megan. Oh, Megan. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I just think it's going to come down to obviously whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, but not only just the least amount of mistakes, it's all about when you make them. If you make it early here in this first 15 laps, if you're Matthew Catania or Rusty Modesty, if you make a mistake, you go around, you lose, a handful of positions or two even, and you don't really give yourself too much damage or anything, you're going to stay on the lead lap. You're not going to lose a lap here, and, you got 10 laps even at this point to continue rolling around before the end of that first stage. That first stage break, the first caution flag, when we get these guys under the yellow, that's going to really open up the door for a lot of these drivers to get right back into the battle, to get right back into the picture here for this feature event. So if you make a mistake early on, it's not going to kill your day. But if you end up having some more issues, if you end up having more problems, especially after that stage break, they just start to compound. You lose a couple seconds here, you lose a couple seconds there. It's going to get very, very tough to find that time and get yourself back into the battle, as we do see one driver likely to come down pit road here a little bit earlier as well. Here comes that 0-1 machine. This is the La Society AutoZone ride, a Rooster Rodden. So Rodden comes down pit road here on the completion of lap number 5. So I think for Rooster, he must know that these drivers can't make it here in this stage on a tank of fuel. So maybe they can only make it, 10, 12 laps somewhere in that area. That's really where I have a sneaky suspicion about as far as they're going to be able to make it here. As Mrs. Holler, sure Holler in the chat says, come on, 88, says, come on, Holler, let's go. As Megan with the you got this would be in the chat, cheered on Clinton here this evening. But yeah, it's going to be about pit stops. You can't get caught speeding down pit road. That's going to be a big no-no, and just trying to minimize off-track incidences. You do not want to be cutting corners. You do not want to be going for loop-de-loops out there. So just keeping yourself, pointing the right direction, not making any big, huge mistakes out there to put yourself behind the 8 ball, late in this race. That's going to be who potentially wins this one. And for right now, the drivers here at the front, when you look at Matthew Catania, Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby, they've been pretty much on point here throughout this race. Tyler Stevenson, we saw that one mistake where he kind of got a little bit loose trying to, keep into the battle there for that race lead, battling with Matthew Catania for the top spot. Got into the grass a little bit, truck went around, luckily enough no damage, but he did fall back here into about that 5th, 6th position and lost that, 7 or 8 seconds that he needed to continue battling there with Catania. Now finds himself 10 seconds back and really out of the picture here for the stage win. So that was a tough break there for Stevenson, but being early on, he's going to get all that time back here at the end of this stage. Could maybe gain a little bit of that, especially throughout the first wave of green flag pit stops. So we'll have to wait and see when more of these drivers decide to pull the trigger. Rooster Rodden coming down pit road there on lap number 5. I think that's going to make things very, very interesting. I'm not sure if he put fresh tires on. We'll have to wait and see what type of lap times he's going to be able to lay down and see if that potentially helps him or hurts him here in the long run of these this green flag run here, because here he is already making the move around John Herbert. This is a battle for that 16th position now on the racetrack. So he stays on the lead lap. He doesn't fall a lap down. And with more and more drivers running into issues or having other problems, could open up the door for them, as you do see Ryan Haller working his way here around Colton Hardy. So Colton Hardy in the 88 rider, Ryan Haller battling back here a little deeper in the field. This is a pass for the 11th position move. Ryan Haller now into 11th. He's got that 0-0 ride, and Nate Cogdell right there in front of him. Keith Prince not too far away in position number 9 on the speedway. So for the Sherwin-Williams number 3 machine, that Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride rolling there in that 9th position right now on the racetrack. Justin Lawson there in 8th with Nick Gardner 7th. And then we do see Paul Durkee still hanging on to position number 6 here this evening. Caleb Kleiner back there in that 5th position as Tyler Stevenson right there in front of him. These guys still all within striking distance of each other. Now there's a big gap between our 4th place driver Stevenson and our 3rd place driver Clinton Woodby, as it is about a 6-7 second gap now between himself and our 4th place drivers. But as you take a look at the front, Rusty Modesty starting to reel in that 3:18 of Matthew Catania. Catania had a couple second lead, but now all of a sudden, here comes this 6th ride. So the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 machine starting to poke his nose into the battle here at the front of the field. Does Catania hang on to it and win this stage, or do we see Rusty Modesty potentially take it away from him? And do we see any drivers trying to extend their fuel mileage here this evening? We could see a few drivers trying to run that fuel mileage game, trying to run this tank dry, hope to maybe steal away some stage points, or maybe late in this race just try to play some different strategy where potentially it puts them into a good position to kind of have that extra little bit of fuel, maybe save themselves a pit stop. Maybe that pit stop, having that extra little bit of fuel or anything else sometime out there on the racetrack could potentially, give you that extra 20 seconds, 30 seconds that could make a difference between, coming home 5th or 4th to putting yourself up and into victory lane. So it could be fun to see how this plays out. And for our race leaders, it's going to be fun to see how it plays out here for the rest of this race. As of right now, 20 of our 21 drivers still on the lead lap. They're about a second away from potentially putting this number 12 ride of Michael Newman, the 2 ride of Harold Rothery, and that 33 machine. Actually, Jimmy Fitzmaurice is a little bit farther ahead here, but for these two, they're not too far away from potentially going a lap down themselves. And for that 133 ride of Ashley Ellison Jr., Ashley is the only driver 1 lap down. So for the Fleet Pride Napa Auto Parts at number 133 ride, currently being the only driver a lap down, he just wants to keep it that way, hope that it stays that way, knowing that he is in that lucky dog position, and he could get his lap back here early in this race, making up for some early contact and damage on his race truck. So that could be a huge break for him, but right now struggling obviously in that 133 ride. I think that's making the 2 and the 12 go a little bit slower here as well. So I'm not too sure. We still got about, I guess they just completed lap number 8. So still 7 more laps before we see the first stage break come to an end. And for our race leaders, they continue to lay down really fast lap times, continuously running virtually about, they're running about 8 seconds. 8 seconds, 9 seconds quicker than Harold Rothery and Michael Newman. So, losing that 9 seconds or so, 8 seconds a lap, and it could get really, really tight. They could be in a bad position here in a quick hurry. If they continue on this pace, our race leaders, they may catch them before the end of this stage. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that one as Catania and Modesty stay glued right here. 1 and 2 separated by less than a second out there on the racetrack. Clint would be about 5 seconds back of our race leader. Tyler Stevenson, he's another 7 seconds back here, so about 12.5 seconds behind our race leader, Matthew Catania. That's where you see Caleb Kleinert, Paul Durkee, Nick Gardner, Justin Lawson, Ryan Haller, who now finds himself into the 9th position. So for Ryan Haller, he continues to keep on working his way closer and closer to the front of the field here, having himself a great first half of this race. Colton Hardy there in 10th. Keith Prince back in the 11th position now with Nate Cogdell, Jesse Calloway, Wyatt Mickelson back in position number 14. Then we see Rooster Rod and Bruce Bernard, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., John Herbert, Michael Newman, and Harold Rothery rounding out our top 20. Ashley Elson Jr. still that first truck 1 lap down, but for Rothery and Newman, they continue to lose time here. Oh, that's a big hit. Oh, baby, who was that? That was, I do believe, Harold Rothery. Oh no, Rothery having a absolute meatball here down into corner number 3. Just gets in a little too hot. You can see him turning the wheel. He's got the wheel cranked to the left. Unfortunately, just coming in too much speed. Truck will not turn. Ends up hard contact there into the tire barrier in corner number 3. And that was a big hit there for that number 2 machine. Let's see if we can play this back again, get another look at it. I do believe he has towed this thing right down pit side, so unfortunately for this number 2 ride, it may be the end of his night here. Let's take a look at it. Here we go, right down into 3, and just cannot get it stopped, cannot get it checked up, and yeah, you can hear that damage, the clunkiness, and everything else as that truck does get put down pit road. Unfortunately, now back in position number 21. And already at least a lap down. That's a heartbreaker there as we do see another driver working his way down pit road. Here comes Colton Hardy. Hardy says, you know what? I'm going to come down pit road now. I'm going to make my pit stop. As we take a look here, Rooster Rod and potentially going to get around him here. So we'll have to wait and see if this strategy will play out for Rooster or not, because this could leapfrog him quite a few positions. The more and more drivers have to start coming down pit road, the farther and farther forward it may put him, as there he goes by that number 97 ride of Colton Hardy. So Hardy still down pit road. Rooster Rodden's going to have quite a bit of an advantage for him. We got to wait for this number 97 to get all the way down here, basically into corner number 1. There we go, finally able to get released. And for Rooster Rodden, already down through corner number 3, 4, 5 now out there on the racetrack and heading through that big bend. So he could potentially find himself, if everyone's going to come down pit road, he could be somewhere inside that top 5, maybe inside the top 6 or 7 here this evening, as we did see Wyatt Mickelson run into some problems here as well. So Wyatt's going to run into some issues. Let's take a look here at the Interstate Batteries number 61 ride. Wyatt shooting her down into the corner. He's got her checked up here. Unfortunately, just can't get it checked up quick enough. Has to loop it around here. Doesn't want to go off the racetrack, but has to get it turned. Has to get it rolling. There he goes. There he goes. Finally gets it pointed back in the right direction. Unfortunately, lost a lot of time right there for that 61 ride. And it was a big mistake there for Wyatt Mickelson, so we'll have to keep an eye on where that will put him here in stage number 1. But we did see a pass for the race lead. Oh, baby. When in the world did we see Rooster Rodden make his way around here? Let's take a look at it. So it looks like Matthew Catania, our race leader, actually making an issue here as well. So our race leader in front right here just gets into the corner, too hot, into the grass. He's trying to hang on to it. Unfortunately, just losing so much speed and momentum. loses that race lead. There goes the 6 of Rusty Modesty. Modesty now out in front, and he is looking to set sail. As now you do see Clinton Woodby starting to put that pressure onto the 318 machine as well. So for Rusty Modesty, now out in front, leading the way here. Keith Prince heads down pit side. So about our third driver to make a pit stop here as Harold Rothery looks like he's finally done getting that truck repaired. He's going to roll back out onto the racetrack. And now, I'm not sure where this is going to put him, but I'm assuming it's going to put him at least a lap down here, maybe 2. We'll have to wait and see where this gets scored around and where this puts that 2 ride of Harold Rothery here this evening. As of right now, it does show that he's a lap down, so that's not a fun spot to be for Michael Newman. He is the last driver still on the lead lap, and for that 12 ride of Newman, he's not too far away from seeing our race leaders. He's about half a second away from seeing Rusty Modesty and Matthew Catania work to his back bumper here. So we may see a few more drivers lose a lap before the end of this stage, especially with more and more issues transpiring out there on the speedway. As Rusty Modesty with the race lead, Matthew Catania has got to check up a little bit there. Had to roll out of the throttle, cut in the corner. Luckily enough, he's able to do so. Still keeping Clinton Woodby back there at bay. Did not engage the DRS here at Sebring, and down this Ullman straightaway there and down into the Sunset Bend here this evening. But here we go, Catania, one of our race leaders, working his way down pit road, makes that hard right-hand turn, heads down pit side. So for Catania, makes his way down pit road, and that's going to set the stage here. Who's going to follow him down pit side? Will more drivers come with him? As here we go. We do see Caleb Kleinert. We see Paul Durkee. They're going to make their way down pit side now, and we're going to see a big mixture here, I think. We're going to see a lot of drivers either trying to stay out a little bit longer or more drivers starting to come down pit side. It's all about where your numbers are, about how far you can make it here, and what you want to do when it comes to the fuel strategy throughout this race. If you're trying to stay out at the stage break, trying to keep that track position, or to come down pit side at the completion of lap 15 no matter what to put tires and get fuel, then it could make or break your afternoon here, just playing that different strategy out there on the racetrack. Here comes Ryan Haller. Jesse Calloway's also headed down pit side. So for a lot of these drivers, making some big moves here down pit road. As out in front, the Sinclair Dyno Care, number 6 rider Rusty Modesty continues to lead the way. Modesty out in front, and you can take a look here at how tight this racetrack is and how technical it is, how you gotta navigate your way through these corners, trying to keep the truck pointing the right direction, and how quickly you gotta do it. You're on the throttle a lot of the time here, and it gets very hairy. It can get very scary in a quick hurry. You just gotta hit your marks, make sure you don't miss a corner, make sure that you don't lose that little bit of focus to try to put yourself into a good position throughout this race, as he'll head down the Ullman straightaway here again, and nice and easy down into the Sunset Bend here for that 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. And beautiful racetrack, beautiful facility here, man. This is a very interesting speedway. I'm not gonna lie, for the first time that I've really seen it here in iRacing, it looks great. It looks really beautiful. And now here we go. We're gonna see the 6th ride come down pit road. So for Rusty Modesty, he's gonna make his pit stop. I believe Clinton Woodby, his teammate, gonna come down pit road here with him. So more pit stops underway here, and it really looks like 12 laps is about the distance. And now we'll see Tyler Stevenson head down pit side. Who else comes down pit road? Does anyone try to stretch it? Does anyone try to go a little bit farther? Or is everyone pretty bound to come down pit road here on lap 12? Looks like Nick Gardner is going to be one of those drivers that stays out a little bit longer here. Gardner's going to at least run another lap, so he's going to take over the race lead. So Nick Gardner out in front. Matthew Catania not too far behind him here. He is in second. He's got a full tank of fuel, so he's not trying to save. He's not trying to do anything except for maybe try to chase down that 27 ride to try to put himself up and into the race lead, into the stage win here as Rusty Modesty Down pit road, back out here, looked like a little bit slower of a pit stop than what Catania got. So I do believe for Matthew Catania, took fuel only on that pit stop. Took fuel only. He just wants to make it to the stage break. Does not want to go too long and put himself into a position where he doesn't maximize his stage points here this evening, so he wants to try to keep himself in front of Rusty Modesty. But now, for Modesty, if he's got those fresher tires, do you use them now? Try to hunt down this 318 ride, try to put yourself into the stage win here this evening. If you're Nick Gardner, can you make it another 2.5 laps to try to get to the end of this stage and still get back down pit road to try to potentially win and steal this stage away from everybody? So we do see Nate Congdell done his pit stop, rolling back out onto the racetrack. John Herbert's down pit road here in that 87. Harold Rothery's back out there for the number 2 ride, still a lap down, but for right now, there's a few drivers that are hanging on to the existence here. The 12 rider, Michael Newman, still on the lead lap, but right now, he is very, very close to potentially going a lap down. Our race leader, Nick Gardner, not too far off his back bumper. And if he still has to make a pit stop, then it's going to put him into a very, very tough spot. But I do believe he did pit there on lap 11. So for Michael Newman, doesn't have to come down pit road, but he's got to be very, very conscious. One slip up, one mistake could put him a lap down. Now, lucky break is he could be in line for that lucky dog. With Harold Rothery, I do believe 1 lap down here. He's currently in front of Ashley Ellison Jr. So Rothery is in the lucky dog position here. Could get himself back on the lead lap for Ashley Ellison Jr. That's a heartbreaker there for that Napa Auto Parts 133 ride, as we do see Nick Gardner. Gardner's going to finally make his way down pit road, and here we go. Battle at the front once again. Catania's got it, but now here comes that 6 ride, Rusty Modesty. I feel like Modesty definitely threw a set of tires onto that 6 machine for the 318. Went fuel only to try to steal this stage win. Unfortunately, not going to quite play out into his favor, as it did not take long for Modesty to close that 3-second gap, reel him back in, and now battling and taking the race lead back away from Matthew Catania. Now, Clinton would be a little farther back here. We'll have to wait and see if Clinton can reel him in. Now, there's only about 2 laps left to go here in this stage, so I think that's going to get very, very tough. I don't think he'll have enough time to reel him in, but for Tyler Stevenson, rolling back here in 4th, and Caleb Kleinert rounding out our top 5, all in line to earn some good stage points here this evening. Paul Durkee there in 6th with Nick Gardner. Rooster Run, our top 8. Colton Hardy now into 9th with Keith Prince rounding at the top 10. Justin Lawson's now down pit road as Jesse Calloway back in position number 12. Nate Congdell there in 13th. Wyatt Mickelson, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Bruce Bernard, Michael Newman, Harold Rothery, Ashley Ellison Jr., and now, Ryan Haller. Oh, no. Haller onto the hauler. Looks like it may be the end of the night for the 88 ride. Ryan Haller here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look back at the Menards number 88 ride. Let's take a look and see what happened. So, Haller in the 88 down into Sunset Bend, comes in with a whole head of steam. Unfortunately, just a little too fast. And, oh, man, that was a big, big hit right there for the 88 ride. That was a huge hit. I don't know. Just had so much speed. He made the first half of the corner, just could not get checked up to make the second half. I like the thought. I like the aggressiveness. Just need to really get onto those binders through that middle to be able to hook that corner and work his way out of that Sunset Bend. And unfortunately, for Ryan Haller, he's back on the hauler here this evening, and that may be a last place finish for the 88 Ryan. That is a heartbreaker for Ryan here this evening. Hopefully, though, his 12 laps of racing action were a little bit fun, were a little bit enjoyable, and maybe once the truck gets fixed up and he's able to get back into the fun, just jumps out there, run some more laps, get some more experience here on the road courses, and has a little bit more fun for the afternoon. As Rusty Modesty, though, Modesty out in front, only got about half a lap or so left to go here to try to win stage number 1 this evening. As we do see Matthew Catania, they are in 2nd. Clinton would be back in 3rd. Tyler Stevenson, Caleb Kleinert, our top 5 out there on the speedway. Paul Durkee, Nick Gardner, Rooster Rodin, Colton Hardy, and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 here in our first stage of the day so far. They got about 1 lap left to go here for those drivers as Ashley Ellison Jr. Oh no, Ashley's going to make some issues here as well. Let's take a look and see what happens. So Ashley Ellison Jr. already a lap down back here in that 133. Looks like same spot as the 2 ride of Harold Rothery. We saw Rothery virtually in that exact same spot. Down into corner number 3. Just gets in too hot, locks him up, and unfortunately not quick enough. Heavy head-on contact into that corner 3 barrier, and unfortunately for those tires, they do not bend, they do not move, and it causes a lot of chaos and carnage. And unfortunately looks like corner 3 may be the spot not to be out there on the racetrack, because we do see the 87 ride of John Herbert trying to work his way back down pit road here as he's got more damage on his race truck and try to keep himself a part of this race. But for the beautiful number 6 machine, Rusty Modesty, Rusty down the back straightaway here. This is the Ullman straight and into the Sunset Bend for the final time here in stage number 1. Is down and out of the Sunset Bend. The 6 rider, Rusty Modesty, back down and across the start finish line. It's Modesty who will win our first stage of the day. Great stage win right there for that number 6 ride. Last lap there laid down not only his quickest lap of this race, but the quickest lap of this feature event. A 2:10.17. Fastest lap time out there on the speedway from any other driver. Him and Katanka are the only 2 that have went into the 2-minute and 10-second bracket, but he is the closest to hitting a 2-minute and 10-second flat lap time here, as we did see a couple more drivers run into problems here. As the stage was coming to a close, they only had a bit of lap left to go. Looks like Nick Gardner's going to run into some issues here. Let's take a look at the 27 ride. Getting into the corner, goes a little too far. Luckily enough, there was a runoff there that he didn't have to worry too much about that. But then we saw the 12 ride also running into issues here. This is Michael Newman. Newman, unfortunately here, just in front of our race leaders here on this final lap. Trying to keep himself on the lead lap, gets sideways, goes for a spin. There goes our race leader, Rusty Modesty. That puts the 12 ride a lap down out there on the racetrack. He went so far, it's so close. He was less than half a lap away from potentially keeping himself on the lead lap there during that stage. Unfortunately, does lose a lap. And then we also saw the 87 of John Herbert. This is back down into corner 1, into corner number 2. He's headed down into corner number 3. Is it going to be the same thing? Oh, he saw it coming. Had to really get checked up there. Luckily enough, able to get checked up enough that he didn't end up into the grass, didn't end up into that wall there in corner number 3 as the caution flag has been displayed. So for Rusty Modesty, our race leader, the yellow flag out, he wins that stage. He's able to roll back around to our pace car down on the front straightaway. He'll pick him up, and they'll get us set for our final stage of the day, which should be a ton of fun here this evening. As Mr. Holler in the chat, hey, it's Kev, says, I suck and I hate myself. Oh, brother, don't be that hard on yourself, my man. Don't be that hard on yourself. Listen, I'd be right there with you. If I was out there on the racetrack, man, and I was running in this, I'd be right there with you, running into the fence as well. I feel there's a lot of drivers that would probably be there as well, man. A lot of guys just, don't really run a lot of road courses, don't really have the knack for the road courses or the will to want to learn road courses, so I don't really blame you, man. But you were having a solid run. You were having a good race up until a couple of those, late stage mistakes there, including getting into the fence, but you were running really good, man. You were up into the top 10 there for a little bit. You were having a solid afternoon, and then obviously, yeah, we saw that big hit for you down and out of the 17th corner. And take us through it, Kev. Take us through it. Hey, it's Kev. What was going through your mind here at this moment? What was the plan here? Was it just a lack of judgment on where the corner was and kind of forgetting that there was this corner here? Because he came in with so much speed, didn't really look like he slowed down a whole lot. But you make the first portion of the corner, just the second half of the corner, just could not make it hook to the right there. It looked like it was going to work. It looked like you were going to get through there and find a good run and potentially find a way to shave off a couple seconds, especially through that corner. Could have saved, 3 or 4 seconds almost. Unfortunately here, just not quite the way you want to get it done. Let's take a look here. See if we can jump right on board with him, actually. So he's rolling out of it. Just way too quick. You can see him cranking that wheel farther and farther right, just can't quite get there. And unfortunately, I ended up into that fence there as his kept says brakes locked up and I couldn't do anything about it. I just suck and I'm beyond pissed right now. Oh, no. Oh, brother. Hey, listen, man. Listen. Hey, you know what? I would just chalk this one up as a fun night. Just... it is what it is, it's a road course. It's like Talladega or Daytona, it's really not your fault. It's kind of just the track on its own. It's just kind of what it produces, and don't feel bad because you're not the only one that's done that here this evening. There's a few drivers that have ran into that issue and have put themselves into that spot out there on the racetrack, and I do believe if your truck is almost repaired, if you jump back out there, Hauler, you might be able to gain another spot. If you roll another lap out there on the racetrack, you can at least pass Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley no longer out on the racetrack here, and for John Herbert, he's still rolling, but you could find yourself some extra ones. Crashing yourself isn't fun. I expect better. I was doing fine all race. Yeah, you were doing really good there for a while, man. You're definitely doing good there for a while, but hey, you know what? It's just, no, I left. Ah, dang it. I was going to say, you got to stick with it, man. These laps are long. You don't really lose too many laps, but I mean, pretty much anytime you lose multiple laps here with only the one caution flag, it's tough to get back as, hey, it's Kev says, I killed my internet, pounding my desk. Oh, no. What in the world? Holler, brother. It's a game, my boy. It's a game. It's not like it cost you $1 million or something wrecking that truck. It's okay, my boy. It's okay. Listen, ain't no one gonna take anything away from you there by making that mistake, man. Ain't no one's gonna judge you. No one's gonna blame you for having that problem. Ain't no one's gonna put up a fight for having that one, getting a little crazy there. PC is off and I'm gone. I'm done tonight. I'm too mad to keep going. Oh, brother, embarrassing. I know. Listen, brother. Listen. It happens to everybody, man. It happens to everybody. Look, this is Nick Gardner. Gardner has the same problem here. You're going to see Gardner. He's going to fly through here. He's going to find himself into almost the same scenario. Gets in too hot. Gets into tire lockup right there. Luckily enough for him, there was just no wall there. So luckily enough, he was able to avoid it there, but there was a lot of other drivers throughout this race that had run into those issues. Harold Rothery in the 2 ride here. I don't know if this was his first wreck or if this is a different one. I think this is a different one for the 2 ride. I think he just loses it right here. He goes around by himself. I mean, it happens. I mean, throughout this race, you can go back and look at this and find all these issues for these drivers, man. Everyone's had problems at some point in time out there on the racetrack. See the 87 turned around right there. Here comes Ashley Ellison Jr. into this corner, and unfortunately, almost same thing as what we saw with Nick Gardner. Gets in there a little too far. Unfortunately, cost him a bit of time right there. Take a look farther back. Where's this is another Ashley Ellison wreck here. What is this one? I think this is down into corner number 3 for the 133. This is a big hit right here for Ashley Ellison Jr. This first stage, man, it's been filled with craziness. It's been filled with chaos, and there you go. Actually, he's almost done that a couple times. He did it once. That really took him out of this race. I do believe that took him right out of this race. This is Harold Rothery again. Where did Rothery do that? That was like lap 9, lap 7. When did he run into his problems here? Take a look here. Where did Harold Rothery run into this issue? He made a big mistake. I think this might be it right here. Yeah, here we go. Watch the 2. Watch the 2. Bam! You're not the only one, my boy. You're not the only one, and you're not going to be the only one. There's still going to be a lot of other drivers that are going to run into these issues throughout this race, as we did see a lot of drivers like to come down pit road, except for Paul Durkee. Paul Durkee stays out, and Justin Lawson also staying out on the racetrack. So they're the only 2 that did not come down pit road here during this competition caution flag here at the end of this stage. So for Paul Durkee and Justin Lawson, they're trying to play a little bit of a different strategy, maybe trying to just have that extra little bit of track position to help them out in their race here this evening, or trying to flip-flop some of these stages or pit stops in the final stage of this race. Rusty Modesty back in third. Clinton Woodby, Matthew Catania are top 5. And you see Colton Hardy, Caleb Kleiner, Nick Gardner there in 8th. Rooster Rodden and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10. Nate Cogdell, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Tyler Stevenson, Bruce Bernard, and Wyatt Mickelson are top 15 as Jesse Galloway, Michael Newman, who we did see go a lap down. Now for Michael Newman, he actually gets the lucky dog, the wave around right there just before the end of that stage. Had that spin himself there and went around right in front of our race leaders, and luckily enough, they were able to work. He's able to get himself back on the lead lap. So, I mean, he did a lot of work. He was really pushing, trying to keep himself on the lead lap and not lose a lap there in that first stage. Unfortunately, he did lose that lap, but it does get him back on the lead lap here, as we do see a couple more drivers headed back down pit road. Here comes Tyler Stevenson, one of our lap down drivers, the 2-rider. Harold Rothery makes his way back down pit side. John Herbert, Ashley Ellison Jr., unfortunately down and out of this race, as we do see everyone getting lined back up here, 2 by 2 by 2, getting ready for our first and I do believe our final restart of this race. So our first and only restart here throughout the rest of this race here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as these drivers are going to see green flag come back out on the completion of lap number 19. So I do believe it's going to be a 31-lap run to the end here for these drivers. 31 laps to get to the end of this race. So that is going to make things very, very interesting. 31 laps to try to work yourself up here and into victory lane here this evening. That could make things very interesting, as I'm not sure what's going on here. Bruce Bernard. Bruce is in front of the field right now. He's not supposed to be. Bruce, what you doing, brother? What you doing? That JMB lawn care ride just decided, you know what? I want to spend a little time here at the front of the field. Not a lot, but maybe a little bit. He's got to fall backwards here. He's got to go back. He's got to go back. I don't think this is where he's supposed to be lined up. I'm not sure if iRacing's telling him to go there or why it's telling him to go up and into third, but I don't see why. We're going to have Bruce Bernard restarting here in that third position. All right. I don't know how that works, but nonetheless, I guess we're going to find out here. Yeah, Bruce, you're not supposed to be up here, brother. You're not a lap down. You're not anything. You're on the lead lap. He should be back right around here, somewhere around that 33, the 4 ride, the 87, somewhere in that area. Luckily enough, looks like iRace is finally telling him that might need to go to the back of the line here. There we go. He's able to get checked up here, able to get in with the rest of the drivers, and now into a good spot is Paul, the old man Durkee. We'll get ready to see that green flag fly. Paul Durkee, who had himself some turkey here. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully everyone had some good turkey, some good friends, some good family time, and now back into the work week, and unfortunately back to the grind until the Christmas holidays. But for everyone else here, hopefully had some good turkey. Hopefully so did Paul Durkee as he gets ready to rumble from that pole position here for the restart. So he gets to fire first. He gets to control how this restart is going to roll. That could give him a really big jump, a really good launch here. And if he works well with his teammate there, that 20-rider Justin Lawson could potentially put themselves into a extra little bit of a gap here, a little bit of a lead here going down into corner number 1. But we saw on the initial start how crazy it was right out of the get-go. 2 wide, 3 wide down into that first corner. Everyone's going to be looking for those extra positions throughout this race as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, as it'll be a 31-lap shootout to the end of this race. So here in the Grand Prix at Sebring, The winning bid die-cast and car brakes drivers here this evening. This is going to be a lot of fun as here we go already down to the inside, making a big move and jumping out in front. It's Clinton Woodby. Woodby put it down to the inside, kept his foot in the throttle and rakes his way quickly into the race lead. And it looks like the inside lane going to continue to pay dividends as everybody down here too wide into corner number 3 and 4. Now through corner 5 and it gets real tight there. Everyone's trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction and on the racing surface as you do see Colton Hardy get up into second. Rusty Modesty now into third. Continues back in fourth, and Paul Durkee already slid back into about that 5th position. But here comes some more fresher tires right on around them. These guys already putting the pressure to their back bumper as you do see the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty, looking to make his way around that Johnny Johnson Motorsports QH Designs 97 of Colton Hardy. Unfortunately for Hardy, really had nothing there for that 6 or the 318 machine as they'll both work themselves around him. But out in front, it is Clinton Woodby. Woodby's got the race lead, and he's hoping that he can try and run away with it as hang on to it. Catania getting a little bit squirrely there. Down and out of that corner, luckily enough, able to catch it, able to hang on to it. He'll have to try to track back down that 6 ride, a Rusty Modesty. But as of right now, Clinton Woodby and Modesty, man, they are sitting pretty here. 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, and hoping that these early leads, these early advantages can pay dividends for them. Paul Durkee's worked his way back around Colton Hardy, so Hardy does fall back into that 5th position. So for Paul Durkee, right back into position number 4 here. This strategy looking like it may pay off a little bit for him. Not really too much of an advantage, but may gain him a couple spots out there on the racetrack and able to leapfrog a few of those drivers. But unfortunately, he will have to come down pit road a lot sooner than a lot of these guys. He was last down pit road on lap number 11. So honestly, pitting there at lap 11, we're going to see him back down pit road here probably in the next 2 or 3 laps, somewhere in that area. But maybe that gives him a bit of an advantage, maybe a little bit of a gap here that he can try to make this maybe on 2 more pit stops, where a lot of these other drivers may have to pit 3 more times throughout this race. But I think for a lot of these guys, it's going to get really, really tight. But I think they should be able to make it here on 2 more pit stops throughout this race. So look for these guys to come down pit road probably somewhere around lap number 28 to lap 29, then back down pit side again somewhere around lap 39 to lap 40, and then they should be good to go there until the end. As we do see Nate Cogdell falling back here a little bit. Look like Cogdell unfortunately ran into some issues here for that 0-0 ride. So let's take a look here. I believe this is down and out of corner number 1. He'll head down through corner 2 right here and into corner number 3. Looks like he's going to lock him up, lose that rear end, go for a slide. And for the Duck Donuts, CCR Esports ride, no caution flags, no Duck Donuts yellows here this evening to help him out there with that slide. And unfortunately lost a good handful of positions right there and falls all the way back into about that 15th spot. So for Nate Cogdell, he'll have to rebound here. A lot of drivers, I think, are going to be trying to rebound or trying to find that extra gear here late in this race. You look at Tyler Stevenson, who led early on in this one in that bestrepair.net machine. Sitting back in that 7th position, thought he'd be up here battling a little bit more for the race win, especially after that stage break, but he's already lost about 8 seconds, 9 seconds to our race leader, Clinton Woodby. Look at Woodby, Modesty, Matthew Catania. They're starting to separate themselves here from the rest of the field once again, just like they did in that first stage, kind of pulling away from that 4th place, 5th place driver and the rest of the field in a quick hurry. As Paul Durkee back in that 4th position, Colton Hardy in 5th. And you do see Tyler Stevenson, Justin Lawson, Nick Garner, Keith Prince, Caleb Kleinert, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. As, man, these guys they're giving it everything they got, man. There's not a whole lot of holding back or, giving an inch out there, man. They are giving it everything they got here, lap after lap after lap. It doesn't seem like anyone's trying to really save any fuel or any tire or anything else, man. These guys are on their A game. They're laying some great lap times. And last time around, new quick time here. Woo! Doggy, new quick time for Rusty Modesty. It already had the quickest lap of this race. The driver behind him, though, Matthew Catania had just laid a faster lap time than Rusty Modesty. So he had, for a split second, maybe that quick time out there on the racetrack with a 2-minute 10-second 0.07 seconds of a lap time. So 2:10:07 was his quick time and the quickest lap of this race. But right there on the last lap around, Rusty Modesty, the first driver to run inside of the 2-minute and 10-second bracket, a 2:09:89. Here this evening, a 2:09.89 second lap time for Rusty Modesty, the quickest lap of this race. And you can see why he's using it, why he's going that quick. He's trying to chase down his teammate, Clinton Woodby, but he's also trying to run away from that number 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania sticking right there with him, though. Looks like maybe a good lap brewing here for that 318 ride. We'll have to wait and see what these drivers are able to do, what numbers they're going to hit here at the end of this stage. As Clinton Woodby continues to lead him here out in front, leading some good laps. Has about a truck length here between himself and that sixth ride as they head down the Yeoman Straight here at the beautiful Sebring International Speedway as the winning bid Grand Prix at Sebring here this evening, already putting on a heck of a show for us, and we may see some more great battles here throughout the middle portion of this feature event. As you see the sixth ride really set it in there deep, looking for a good run out of this Sunset Bend, and right there on the back bumper of our race leader, Clinton Woodby, looking to turn on that DRS as Woodby trying to pull away here, but here comes that sixth ride of Modesty, and last time around, just good fast lap times by all these guys, man. Great laps, great performances here by our top three, continuously being quicker than a majority of the drivers back behind them. The only other driver that's within a second of their lap times is the 92, which is our race leader in the number 51 of Tyler Stevenson. Stevenson up and into that fifth position now. He's looking to try to reel in Paul Durkee here for position number 4, but unfortunately for Stevenson, he's already lost that 9 seconds or so here this evening to those top three. So he's sitting in a tough spot as there we go. Big mistake into the sixth rider. Rusty Modesty had just taken the race lead away from the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. Modesty jumped out in front and then sent it in too deep. Unfortunately, went through the grass, missed that corner. Luckily enough, no damage, no problems. Able to keep on battling. Got back on the racetrack just in front of Matthew Catania. But now Catania smells blood. He's ready to strike. He's ready to take a bite out of this sixth ride and try to work his way up and into second here. He knows this could be the battle right here for the race win this afternoon between these three. This may be the closest he may be to the sixth ride for the rest of this race. Some great battling, some great performances here, man. These drivers continue to put on an absolute amazing show for us. If you guys are enjoying the racing action and you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button for us. Hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as these guys put on a great race for us, a great battle here today, man. We can't thank these guys enough for showing us some great action out here on the Speedway. Let's see if we can jump on board, though, for this next lap with Matthew Catania. Let's go for a ride along here with this 318 for lap number 24 here this evening as they're going to complete their 23rd lap of this race. We'll jump on board with the 318 ride and see what he can see here for the next lap around the beautiful Sebring International Speedway. Alrighty, there's a lap around Sebring, riding on board there with Matthew Catania, giving us a great look around this racetrack as these three continue to battle, continue to duke it out here at the front of the field. Modesty looking to try to take the race lead back away from his teammate Clinton Woodby, though. Woodby not giving it up, though, easily. He is going to try to keep himself out in front, but here comes the 6th ride, going to the outside, looking to make this pass. He'll have the inside advantage for a second there, but the 92, good run down and through the big bend there, and luckily enough, able to pull back out in front of the 6 machine. So Modesty once again right back to his back bumper. Catania's right there as well, ready to strike. Each and every one of these drivers, they know one slip up, one mistake could cost them an opportunity at winning this feature event. So you do not want to make that slip up. You do not want to have that problem where potentially it could take you out of this one. So that's going to make things very, very interesting here. It's going to make things very fun to see, you know, how these guys are going to be able to hang on and how long they're going to be able to go. And when we look back deeper in the field, you start to look at the fuel mileage and where drivers are when it comes to the fuel game out there on the racetrack. And for this Foundation for Pops quick lane number 31 right up Paul Durkee. Durkee has fallen back into that 5th position, but he did not pit there during that stage break. And for the 31, he was last down pit side, back on lap number 11. So for Paul Durkee, even with the caution laps there, you know, this has been about a 14-lap run for him. Everyone pretty much only made it, you know, maybe 12 or 13 laps during that first run of the day. So if he's stretching out that fuel, if he was able to save a bunch during that caution flag, I'd expect probably within the next couple laps that this 31 ride's going to be making his way down pit road out there on the speedway. If he can try to stretch it, maybe get somewhere towards the completion of lap number 26, 27, maybe it puts him into a window where he only has to make one more pit stop throughout this feature event. Maybe the extra track position may help him out here. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy call will be here as down and through Sunset bend there, and looks like down across the start-finish line, he's going to stay out for at least another lap, so that's going to make things very interesting for him. But we do see Justin Lawson. Lawson comes down pit road here at the completion of lap 25 for that number 20 ride. Now for Lawson, he was down pit road on lap 13, so he's actually got a couple laps better of fuel between himself and Paul Durkee. So I'm not sure if he just came down early, knowing that maybe this is a number that he wanted to get to. Maybe Durkee wants to try to make it a little bit farther, but definitely going to be interesting to see where those guys will line up here with that pit strategy. But we do see Matthew Catania around that 6th right, a Rusty Modesty. Modesty has fallen back into 3rd, and now Catania right there on the back bumper of Clinton Woodby. As we saw Wyatt Mickelson in the Interstate Batteries, number 61. Wyatt's going to run into some issues here, maybe the same spot his teammate did. Gets in there pretty hot. He's got to get it checked up. Oh, maybe he had to really lock things down right there. Luckily enough, did not get into Lawson. Did not get ran over by Keith Prince. But for the 61, almost went for a bit of a ride right there. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it and able to keep it rolling. Now, we did see Rooster Rodden running into issues here as well. Let's take a look at the orange and black 0-1 ride here. Rooster Rodden. Now, he is just outside the top 10. I do believe this is down into corner number 6, and you're going to watch the 97 go up and off and into the grass, and I do believe for the 0-1 ride, I don't know if he just gets checked up trying to avoid it there or not, maybe just getting stopped enough that iRacing thought that was a wreck, but nonetheless, the 97 loses a few positions. For the 0-1, actually end up gaining a couple or a spot right there. So good break for him. But here we go. Battle out in front. Continue to heats up. The 318 of Matthew Catania trying to find a better run and a better lane down through that section. He's been looking to find a lot of speed down there. Unfortunately, just has not found enough to really help him out or be a little bit of a benefit to him. He's really, really fast around a lot of these other bends, but seems like that 17th corner on the racetrack really hurting his drive here this evening. And here we go. Paul Durkee does decide to make his way down pit road, so only made it about a lap farther. And Durkee now down pit road here, completing lap number 26 out on the racetrack He makes his way down pit side. We do see Harold Rothery also down pit road back here in the number 2 ride. Unfortunately for Rothery, he's a few laps down, so that's a tough break there for the number 2 ride. But it's Paul Durkee. Here comes Colton Hardy. Here comes Nate Cogdell. So a few of these drivers maybe try to make some strategy calls here. Maybe some pit strategy may be the difference maker late in this race. We do see Rusty Modesty again. Really seems like that set of corners has been his kryptonite here. I do believe that is corner 6, 7, 8 right there, and that's really kind of messed with him here. That's been the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him kind of blow through that 6th corner on the racetrack. Luckily enough, he's able to hang on to it, keep it rolling, keep himself in the battle, but you don't want to do that too many times or else it's just going to continue to hurt your ability here to keep pace with our race leaders, and we see that right now. He's about 3 seconds now behind his teammate, that 92 of Clinton Woodby. Matthew Catania is right there in second, so they're not really falling away from him, but they're hanging right there with them, and the battle's still very much on here for this race win. But for our race leader, Clinton Woodby, you look back to our 4th place driver, it's about an 11-second gap, almost 12 seconds between himself and Tyler Stevenson. You go even farther back to 5th position here, between 1st and 5th is now about 22 seconds out there on the racetrack. That is a crazy amount of time there. That's almost an entire pit stop right there that you can come down pit road, get some extra fuel, get a splash of gas and go, and maybe still keep yourself in front of this 196 of Caleb Kleinert or Nick Garner there for that 5th and 6th position. They've been having a good battle back here. You do see Keith Prince. He's hanging on to 7th here. He's got Wyatt Mickelson right there with him, trying to work his way back inside the top 7 as Rooster Ronan there in 9th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. rounding out our top 10. Great run going here for Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. rolling there in that 10th position as they do see Paul Durkee. He's back in the 11th spot. Now Durkee's been back down pit road. So hasn't Justin Lawson. Colton Hardy also back down pit road. Same with Nate Cogdell. We're still looking for a few other drivers. Our top 10 all yet to make an additional pit stop here this evening. And then we're also looking for drivers like Jesse Calloway to come back down pit road this evening, as he still needs to make a pit stop as well in that 4 ride. So a lot of these drivers have pit stops kind of on the horizon. I think right around that 11, 12 laps is kind of their target area. I think that is really the spot that they need to make it here this evening. So I feel we're going to see a lot of these drivers next time by work their way down pit road. They may, if they got an extra little bit of fuel, maybe they make it just that little bit farther. Maybe they make it 12 laps here on a tank of fuel. Try to give themselves that extra little bit of benefit late in this race. But I do believe this will be their penultimate pit stop here this evening. Everyone should be kind of back down pit road somewhere around lap 40-ish, and that should give them enough to get to the end of this race. So we'll have to wait and see how this one gets played out, as we did see Wyatt Mickelson and Rooster Ronan run into issues here. And for Mickelson, a little bit of damage on that number 61 ride. Let's take a look back, see what happens. He's actually in behind that 0-1 right now. Rooster had worked his way up and into position number 8. And then you see the 61 just gets in there too far. And right there just kisses the inside fence. And a little contact there from the 0-1 ride. Luckily enough, not insane damage. That could have been a whole lot worse in a quick hurry. Not only for Wyatt Mickelson, but for that 0-1 ride. Rooster Ron, and luckily enough, doesn't look like too much problems for either driver, so they'll continue to keep on battling, but their pit stops maybe on the horizon, maybe a little bit of repairs on the horizon for their race trucks as well. As out in front, we do see these drivers. They're going to at least go another lap here. They just completed lap number 28. That gives them an 11-lap run. Now, they did have about a lap or so under the yellow flag, so maybe they know if they can keep on rolling, if they can keep on going, make it to lap number 30. That puts them back down pit side somewhere around lap number 40, lap 42, somewhere in that area, and they'll be good to go to the checkered flag. As here we go, we do see Rooster Ronan. He's going to come down pit road here at the completion of lap 28, so he makes his way down pit side. He's not going to wait any longer. Maybe try to use this earlier pit stop to work into his favor. Maybe leapfrog a couple of those drivers, but for Rooster Ronan, this is a mistake you cannot have. Too fast down pit road. A black flag for the 0-1 rider, Rooster Rodden. Man, I think Rooster's probably been the most penalized driver down pit road here early in this season. I feel like we see Rooster get a lot of black flags down pit side. I don't know if he's just pushing the limits, trying to keep himself right on that bubble area, and unfortunately just getting caught few too many times down pit side speeding here, and unfortunately this is going to be another one, and this one it probably won't put him a lap down, but it's definitely not going to help his day out at all, and unfortunately he's probably going to get about a 30-second hold here down pit side unless the Sebring does it different. Maybe it may be a 60-second hold down pit road for that 0-1 machine. You're going to watch the four-ride here of Jesse Calloway get into his pit stall. He's going to start his pit stop. We'll have to wait and see if Calloway can make a stop here. No, okay, so I thought maybe Calloway would get out before he did, but Rooster finally gets the good to go, rolls back out there, but he's going to lose a ton of time here. This is going to definitely really potentially take him out of this race. That is a tough break there for him. And now we did see Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson runs into issues too. Oh no, Wyatt again. Potentially already with that front end damage. And oh man, this is a big hit here for the 61 Ryan. Carrying a lot of speed here. Up and through, I do believe that's corner 7 and into corner number 8 out there on the racetrack. Actually, this may be corner number 10 here. Cunningham, number 10, just blows it in there too far and doesn't actually make contact. I thought he was making contact here with something, but doesn't really run into anything, but just locks it up, slides up here into the middle of corner number 10 here, the Cunningham corner, and unfortunately, he's going to tow it right back down pit road. So that's a big heartbreaker there for that 61 ride of Wyatt Mickelson, and that puts him down pit side, and I do believe off the racetrack and potentially out of this race. Looks like Michael Newman also down and out of the race here for Harold Rothery. That's at least a couple more spots that he can gain here this evening. As we start with 21, I do believe we are down to only 16 drivers still rolling here. I believe Ryan Haller, Ashley Ellison Jr., John Herbert, Michael Newman, and now Wyatt Mickelson potentially all done here this evening. The Harold Rothery, Bruce Bernard, Jesse Calloway, Rooster Rodden, Nate Cogdell, Colton Hardy, and the rest of our top 10 still rolling here this evening. But, man, that's a heartbreaker for already 5 of our drivers back up and onto the hauler here this evening and potentially out of this race for the rest of the night. That is not a fun spot to be out there on the racetrack, as Clinton Woodby, Catania, all these drivers, they made at least another lap here. So it looks like they are going to migrate their way to about lap number 30 here next time by the start-finish line. They will complete lap number 30, and that really it's got to really bring them close to that fuel window. They got to be really, really tight here on fuel. So I think we're going to see maybe a few of them head down pit side this time. And here we go. It's like the 92. There it is. Hard right-hand turn back down pit road here. Looks like Catania is going to stay up for at least another lap. So Catania stays out here. We see Clinton Woodby, Rusty Modesty, and they make their way down pit road. Here comes Tyler Stevenson. He's going to stay up for at least another lap there in that 51 ride. So it's now Catania and Stevenson out in front. They roll for at least an extra lap. Now here comes Caleb Kleinert and Nick Gardner. They're going to stay out as well here. So you can definitely tell that the CCR esports team all playing kind of the same strategy here. They're all going to stay out for at least another lap. And now right now they run first, second, third, and fourth out there on the racetrack. So for the CCR esports team, they're sitting pretty right now, but they still got to make a pit stop here. You got to make sure that you get down pit road. Don't make any mistakes, as you do see Modesty now leaving pit road as well. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. makes his way down pit side. Here comes Paul Durkee. Here comes the 20 Ryan Lawson. They had already made their second pit stops of the day here back on lap 25 and lap 26. We'll have to wait and see when they finally make their decision for their final pit stop of the evening and how that may hurt them or help them here in the long game of this race. But it'll be interesting to see kind of where they get placed and where they get put into here and where they kind of stack up with the rest of the field, as Everyone's just doing a fantastic job. Some great racing, great action out there. Obviously, some good pit strategy now being played out for a lot of these drivers. For Matthew Catania, you got to wonder where this will put him as he gets down pit road and migrates back out onto the racing surface here between himself and Clinton Woodby. Rusty Modesty, where does that stack him up? Where does that put him? Will it give him potentially that little bit better tire where he'll be able to track those guys down, or will it kind of give him, a little bit worse track position that may end up hurting his cause here more than it helps him, but maybe just a little longer late in this race? Trying to get that fuel mileage absolutely right. Trying to make sure that you get enough left in the tank for late in this race. Could definitely be a big difference maker. But here we go. I believe we're going to see him come down pit side this time. And there it is. Hard right-hand turn. Down pit road at the completion of lap number 31 for Matthew Catania. We'll have to wait and see if the rest of his teammates decide to come down with him or if anyone tries to stretch it for another lap. Here we go. 51 right, down pit side. Here comes Caleb Kleinert and the 27 and Nick Gardner. Do they make their way now down pit road as well? Here we go. 196, hard right-hand turn, 27 Nick Gardner, hard right-hand turn, Clinton Woodby. He's down and out of that Sunset Bend, and it's going to be a drag race. Catania's trying to get done his pit stop. Just finished that pit stop. There goes the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Back out in front of him. Where is that 6 rider, Rusty Modesty? Modesty's coming with a big head of steam. Catania will get out in front of the 6 right here, but for Clinton Woodby, we'll have a bit of a lead here, a bit of an advantage again, and for Nick Gardner, oh no, Gardner caught speeding down pit road. Black flag here for the 27 ride. Too fast down pit road. He will get a hold. Having himself such a good run, good drive here. Up inside the top, 6, 7. Almost inside that top 5. Unfortunately, that's going to send him back at least a few positions. We'll have to wait and see if he can regain those spots later in this race. As there goes Keith Prince, done his pit stop. Now going to get in front of him. We do see drivers like Paul Durkee, Justin Lawson, Colton Hardy able to get around him as well. There goes Keith Prince, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. trying to get in front of that 27 ride as well. And unfortunately for Nick Gardner, you can see how much time he's given up. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. just left virtually that pit road area. Same with Keith Prince. And for Nick Gardner, he is just getting done serving that penalty, just rejoining this race. Now back into about that 12th position, and we should see maybe that 0-1 rider, Rooster Ron, somewhere near him. They're going to be somewhat close there. 2 drivers that earned black flags during that pit stop. And what in the world just happened to the 0-1? What in the world was that? What did he hit? What did that front bumper just decide to blow off this thing? Did he get into the outside fence here a little bit? Oh, yeah, right there. Tagged that fence and going to give himself a little bit of damage for a second there. Pulls that front bumper off of the 0-1 right. Luckily enough, this isn't real-life racing. It is iRacing. So, boom, there it goes. It's back. No harm, no foul. Able to keep it on there and able to keep on going. So that's a good break there for the 0-1 ride. But unfortunately, may do some damage underneath of that front bumper. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of lines up again for him as the 92 of Clinton Woodby out in front will lead another lap here. 32 laps down, 18 laps left to go here this evening. 18 more laps left to battle it out. And Frosty Modesty just laid down another quick time here. Another quick time for that number 6 ride of Rusty Modesty. A 209.21, almost, actually just over 0.8 of a second faster than anybody else here this evening. Over 0.8 of a second faster than anyone else. When you look at Matthew Catania, you look at a driver like Colton Hardy who have ran into the 2-minute and 10-second lap times. He is about a second and a half quicker than them with that quick time compared to their quick times out there on the racetrack. So for this 6 ride, seems like with fresh tires, he is absolutely flying out there on the racetrack, but may have to try to take care of these tires a little bit better here for later in the run to try to put himself back into the battle. But for Clinton Woodby, our race leader, did have some issues here. Brings them both back in. He had a pretty sizable lead, a pretty sizable gap here. And unfortunately, I do believe down into corner number 7, which is the hairpin turn right here. Just gets in there a little too far, has to kind of get it checked up, and unfortunately, that did cost him quite a bit of time right there for Catania and Modesty to kind of reel him in right there, just ever so slightly. Now for Nate Cogdell, looks like Cogdell's gotten some big damage here. Let's take a look back at that 0-0 ride. Nate Cogdell down into corner number 1. He's running in about the, I do believe, right around the 11th position. Just gets into quarter 1 too much, and oh my gosh, that was a big mistake right there for that Duck Donuts 0-0 ride. Comes in with a big head of steam, and unfortunately, as he gets in here too fast, locks up the tires right about here, and as he locks them up, this thing just keeps on driving straight. Look at him trying to get it to turn, trying to get it stopped here. Unfortunately, too far, too much speed, not enough brake, and unfortunately for Colton Hardy, ends up hard contact into that outside fence into corner number 1. Virtually right about there is where he ran into that issue, and that was a big hit there for Nate Cogdell, and it looks like for Cogdell, that's going to put him down pit road, and it may keep him down here for an extended period of time. So for Nate Cogdell, could be another driver done and out of this race, which is a tough break for him. But luckily enough, the farthest back he can fall right now is to about that 16th position. Harold Rothery needs to run about another 4 to 5 laps to try to put himself in front of Nate Cogdell. But for Cogdell, already 5 drivers done and out of this race, and he may be truck number 6 here this evening. Is out in front. Clinton Woodby, Matthew Catania, Rusty Modesty still rolling here at the front of the field. 1, 2, and 3 separated by 2.5 seconds. Out there on the racetrack, Tyler Stevenson about 15 seconds back. You see about 14 seconds behind him is our 5th place driver, Caleb Kleinert. He's got that 31 of Paul Durkee right there with him. Justin Lawson back in 7th. Colton Hardy there in 8th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. back in 9th, and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. Keith having himself a pretty solid afternoon here at the Speedway. The 3 ride rolls there inside the top 10 here this evening. But for Clinton Woodby, trying to hold on to the race lead, trying to keep this 3:18 of Matthew Catania back there at bay. It's easier said than done, though, so we'll have to wait and see if he can hold him off, if he can keep Catania back here at bay, trying to keep himself out in front and drive this winning bid, number 92, up and into victory lane here this evening at the winning bid diecast Grand Prix at the Sebring International Speedway here this evening. For the Metalheads Truck Series, man, it's been a heck of a show so far. These guys have been putting on a great race for us, and they're not done duking it out here for this race win. A lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd see at least one driver potentially pull away with this win and just kind of leave everyone back there in the dust, but it's been these 3 really just duking it out here for most of this afternoon. Clinton Woodby, Catania, and Rusty Modesty been pretty much the class of the field here this evening. Throw in Tyler Stevenson early in this race, was right there with them until his first mistake, and he's just never really rebounded from it. And he rolls in the 4th position, but about 15.5 seconds behind our race leader here this evening. But some great racing, some great battling. 34 laps completed, 16 laps left to go as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here this evening on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session giving us all the sights and sounds around this beautiful racetrack here at the beautiful Sebring International Speedway here this evening. As out in front, it's still Matthew Catania. Catania yet to come down pit road and potentially make his final pit stop of the day. He was last down pit road on lap 31. So wasn't Tyler Stevenson, who now sits in second. But back on lap 38, we did see Rusty Modesty and Clinton Woodby come down pit road. We did see a handful of other drivers make their way down pit side here as well. Caleb Kleiner back down pit side. He sits there in 6th. We saw Justin Lawson down pit road. He sits back in 7th. We're yet to see Keith Prince, Nick Garner coming back down pit side as of yet. Colton Hardy had also come back down pit road back on 37. Same with Paul Durkee. Unfortunately, as we did see Paul Durkee make his way down pit road for his final pit stop of the day, he was just in front of that 20 rider, Justin Lawson. Looked like he could have potentially put himself inside the top 5, top 6 or so throughout this race, but got a black flag. Too fast down pit road for Paul Durkee, and unfortunately put himself into a tough spot out there on the racetrack, and now way behind the 8 balls. Here comes Catania. Matthew Catania makes his way back down pit road for what is going to be his final pit stop of the evening. You got to make sure you don't make a mistake. Do not want to get a penalty. We do see Tyler Stevenson. He is going to stay out. He is not going to come down pit road here, so he's going to stay out for at least another lap. But we got to look and see where Modesty will be compared to Matthew Catania. Here comes Catania down and out of the pits. He's able to pick up that throttle. Here comes Modesty right down to the inside. It's going to be a big race here to the end. Is Rusty Modesty going to get out just about, 5-6 car lengths in front of Matthew Catania? Catania will have the 2-lap better tires, though. Will that make the big difference here? Will that be the deciding factor late in this race between Modesty and Catania in trying to pick up the checkered flag here this evening? And Stiggs Outdoors says that dive bomb off the last turn coming off the Sunset Strip was a thing of beauty. Yeah, it was definitely a beautiful pass right there that put Catania into the race lead, that put him out in front, taking that top spot away from Clinton Woodby. Woodby, who sits back in that 3rd position, he hung on to the race lead for so many laps. He was out in front, keeping that 318 of Catania, and Rusty Modesty back there at bay. Unfortunately, finally giving up that race lead to Catania. Pulled over, allowed Rusty Modesty's teammate to get after that 318 machine as well, and fell back to 3rd. Unfortunately, after his pit stop as well, he finds himself quite a ways behind those two. He's about 12-13 seconds back behind Rusty Modesty and Matthew Catania. So right now, very difficult spot for him. He obviously needs something major, catastrophic to happen between those two to try and put himself back into the battle for the race win. As Tyler Stevenson out in front leading the way here. He does have to make a pit stop here at some point before the end of this race. So for the 51 ride, he's going to have to make his way down pit side in a quick hurry. As Diggs Outdoors says, I thought 6 was going to totally lose it there. Yeah, definitely some close calls, I think, for a lot of these drivers. There was a lot of opportunities, a lot of areas where they could have definitely put themselves into a tough position out there on the racetrack. Waterford Concepts says, go Dino Nugget Car. Go Dino Nugget Car. Well, that Dino Nugget Car is looking pretty good. He's sitting in that 2nd position with Tyler Stevenson still having to make at least another pit stop. Did not come down pit road right there. He's going to have to come down pit side here in probably the next couple laps. So it's going to be down, I think, really between the 6th ride of Rusty Modesty and his 318 of Matthew Catania. And it's going to be tight. It's going to be a tight battle, I think, right down to the checkered flank here between these two. And one mistake, one slip-up, one wrong move could potentially put you into the battle or take you out of the battle here this evening for the race win. If you're Catania, you're trying to hunt down the 6th ride, so you're using up a little bit more of those fresh tires than you may want to right now. But this may be the closest you're going to be to that 6th ride. But we have seen Rusty, kind of towards the end of the run, start to fall back a little bit. Not really carry as much speed on the older tires, so we'll have to wait and see if Modesty just takes it a little bit easier, tries to save those tires a little bit longer here in this run, or potentially will we see Catania just hang with them here. Last time around, Modesty ran A 2:09.49 second lap time. That was only about 3/10 slower than his quickest lap of this race, but that is still pretty much the fastest lap by almost a full second here over everyone else in the field. So he does have really, really good raw speed out of that 6 machine. He's shown that he's got a lot of pace, a lot of good speed on fresh tires for Rusty Modesty, but the issue is the longer run here, and with this race not having any caution flags, that's all you're going to see are those long runs. You're not going to see a caution flag in a short run, but oh no! Oh, lap traffic gets in the way. That could be it. That could have been a gift from Harold Rothery. Contact between him and the 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania battling for the race win here this evening. And Harold Rothery, who finds himself at this point, he was down about 7 laps, 6 laps, something like that. He was down already. Oh no, you're going to watch him. He gets into the corner a little too far right here. Up and off the racing surface. You see the number 6 of Rusty Modesty able to get around him, but as the 2 right tries to rejoin the racing surface, and I'm not sure if he didn't realize that Catania was there or if he had more room, but we're going to watch this 2 car come back onto the racing surface, in the 318 kind of slides up the racetrack right here. So Catania's trying to get an angle into the corner. It's the same spot that a lot of these drivers, they take. You look at the 6 ride where he's parked right there on that picture. You kind of go up and outside the racing surface, more onto that apron. 318's trying to use that same line. As he does, it cuts right up and across the nose of the 2 ride of Harold Rothery. Rothery still coming in with too much speed. Unfortunately, just gets into the back end of Matthew Catania and spins our second place driver around, and Catania comes to a stop there out of corner number 16 there in the Lamas corner here at the beautiful Sebring International Speedway here this evening, and that just allows Rusty Modesty to pull away from him. Modesty now with a massive advantage here between himself and Matthew Catania, and for Tyler Stevenson still having to come down pit road here. He's still leading the way. He's just going to run out of fuel here in the next handful of laps. But that was a big, big moment, as that gives Modesty now almost 16 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, almost 16 seconds of a difference here out on the racetrack. Let's see if we can pull the track map up. Let's put the car numbers onto the track map for you so you can know where that 318 ride is compared to the 6 of Rusty Modesty. So Modesty down in the bottom left of that track map. He's highlighted in the green. You see this whole straightaway that they were just on. You see the 318 still on it. So down in through the final corner here, corner 17 at Sebring, and down across start-finish line here. You see the gap. Here comes the 318 ride. He is just entering that final corner. Modesty's already down this front stretch across the start-finish line, down into corner number 1 as the 318 is just leaving corner number 17 here. And you can see that gap. You can see that difference and how far of a gap has been built now between our potential race leader, Rusty Modesty, in that 318 of Matthew Catania, man. That is an absolute heartbreaker there for Matthew. Having such a good run, having such a good race, and right there, that opportunity to potentially put himself into victory lane just went out the window, and it looks like now he's back the pace up, so I'm not sure if that had caused more damage, maybe something in the undercarriage or front end. Looks like he's definitely struggling here now with this 318 ride. Just made another mistake going up and off the racetrack. Can definitely see that left rear damage, the contact there into the back end for Matthew Catania, as I do believe he actually ended up going back off the racetrack a couple more times here. So let's take a look here at the 318. So this is after that contact and spin. So there we go. There's more damage for him. So this is already after him and Harold Rothery. This is virtually that little loop right there. Back down into corner number 1. It gets in too far. Obviously mad, obviously upset, trying to gain as much time as possible. Makes a mistake, gets up into the outside fence, causing some damage there onto the 318 machine. And then we're actually going to see him make a couple more problems here, getting off the racing surface. We'll have to wait and see That's right here at corner number 5. Yep, there it is again. Goes up and off the racetrack. He did that in the next lap around as well. And that's what's really built up this big lead now for Rusty Modesty between him and that 318 machine. And the contact into that left rear, obviously. Actually, I think that's the right rear. Is the right rear or left rear? Both ends look kind of messed up. I think it's the right rear that got the most damage there. And unfortunately for that right rear, definitely some solid suspension issues there, and that is definitely going to continue to affect his car, as now we do see Tyler Stevenson making his way down pit side. So Tyler Stevenson makes his final pit stop of the day here at the completion of lap 44, so with 6 laps left to go. Rusty Modesty takes back over this race lead and should have virtually about a 21, almost 22 second gap between himself and Matthew Catania. So for the number 6 ride, he's got a good lead. There goes Catania just down across start-finish line. He will have his teammate Tyler Stevenson potentially come out right behind him here. Stevenson may be in that 3rd position. He may have enough time here with a little bit better tire and a little bit time left in this race. He may be able to track down that 318 ride of Matthew Catania, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes or run into any issues here himself. Clinton Woodby may be in that picture frame as well, as we do see Catania off the racetrack again. So that right rear damage definitely affecting this car. Left rear, right rear, just rear end damage altogether. You can see this truck just really moving around a ton, and he is not comfortable, especially under braking, and I think that's really causing him to lose even more time, and it's probably not going to be very much for Tyler Stevenson to get around him and steal that 2nd spot from Matthew Catania here this evening. For Clinton Woodby in picture frame to potentially try to jump up inside the top 3 here as well this evening, as Diggs Outdoor says those tire barriers are not very forgiving. They are not very forgiving. They're a little bit forgiving in real life. In real life, they at least move a little bit. They're kind of bouncy because they're rubber tires and they're not filled with anything. But here in iRacing, man, they're the same as a concrete wall. You run into those, it is just unfortunate mistake, and unfortunately it's the same as running into any of these other safer barriers or into one of these other metal walls around this racetrack. They do not move. They do not move an inch, and unfortunately cause a ton of damage. As Diggs says, that truck is trying to step out in a straight line. It's a handful right now. Yeah, definitely a handful. You can imagine like a tow link or something underneath this truck is starting to go away in it, and the more and more issues that he's running into, the more and more it's also burning up that, those rear tires. The more those rear tires start to fade away, the more and more issues he's going to have. I got you. I knew you were trying to say Trusk. I don't know what Trusk would be. I knew it was truck, but yeah, definitely a handful of a truck right now, and it's just allowing Rusty Modesty. Modesty's pretty much on cruise control down across the line here. For Matthew Catania, Rusty Modesty has about a 25-second lead here. 25 seconds between himself and Matthew Catania, with only 5 laps left to go in this race. For Rusty Modesty, he's on cruise control, man. You can give up 4 seconds a lap back to that 318 machine. You're still going to win this race by a handful of seconds. So he can really back down the pace. Doesn't really need to push it. Doesn't really need to put himself into a position where he makes a mistake or run into a problem here. But I know, being a competitor to the 6th ride, he's not going to want to back it down. The more you start backing it down, if you have a big lead, especially on these road courses, it kind of gets you out of your sync. You're kind of in a little bit of a synchronized step out there on the speedway. You're kind of in a rhythm. And if you start to back the pace down too much, you start to roll out of it too much, that's when you really start to make mistakes, because you're starting to, start to slow down the wrong places at the wrong time. You don't know how much to slow down, and sometimes it just puts you into a bad position. So I don't think for the 6th ride he's going to slow down too much. He may take it a little bit easier, especially on some of those hairpin turns. But I think for Rusty Modesty, man, it is his race to lose now at this point. He just kind of hit his marks, keep the truck on the racetrack, do not get any major damage, avoid some of the lap traffic, and he should have no problem pulling himself up and into the winning bid Grand Prix at the Sebring International Speedway Victory Lane here this evening for the Metalheads Truck Series. 4th race of the season, as Catania still sitting in 2nd, but you see Stevenson, he's there. He's only a couple truck lengths now off his back bumper. They do have a bit of a gap between themselves and Clinton Woodby, so I don't think Woodby, he might be able to catch him, might not be able to catch him. I don't think he'll be able to get there. It looks like for Catania, he's able to hang on decently here as long as he just doesn't make any more major mistakes. And oh, there it is. There's the mistake we were talking about. This is going to bring Woodby potentially right into the picture as there goes Tyler Stevenson. Stevenson into second. Matthew Catania slides his way down through corner number 17 here, the Sunset Bend, and unfortunately will fall back into that third position. That does draw in the 92 of Clinton Woodby, that much closer to his back bumper here this evening. Caleb Kleiner rounding out our top 5 right there just out of that Sunset Bend himself is Justin Lawson. Colton Hardy, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., top 8 runs so far here for Jimmy. Heck of a drive here this evening for this 33 machine. And Nick Garner there in 9th. Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 is that Sherwin Williams. Johnny Johnson Motorsports, number 3 machine, rolling there in that 10th position as Rooster Rodden back there in position number 11. Paul Durkee back there in position number 12. Now, I do believe Durkee is the last truck on the lead lap as of right now. Last truck on the lead lap. Nate Cogdell, 1 lap down back there in that 13th position. Bruce Bernard also a lap down back in 14th. Harold Rothery, looks like Rothery is done and out of this race, so unfortunately, looks like Rothery's out. Looks like Jesse Calloway is now out of this race as well. So we started with 21 trucks. We're down to 14 still rolling out on the racetrack. It's Harold Rothery, Jesse Calloway, Wyatt Mickelson, Michael Newman, John Herbert, Ashley Ellison Jr., and Ryan Haller bring up the rear of the field from 15th position all the way down back to 21st. They're unfortunately done and out of this race. It looked like Harold Rothery made about 38 laps. Jesse Calloway made about 34 laps. Wyatt Mickelson exited the race back on lap 28. For Michael Newman, it was lap 26. Sean Herbert exited the race after 20 laps. And for Ashley Ellison Jr. and Ryan Haller, they exited the race back on lap 13 and lap number 12 here this evening. So for some of them making it, a little bit over halfway. Some of them making it close to the end. And others not making it very far here this evening. And unfortunately, we started with 21. We're down to 14 trucks still rolling out there on the racetrack. And for the 6th ride, Rusty Modesty has got a 27-second advantage here between himself and Tyler Stevenson with only 3 laps left to go. As we do see Matthew Catania, he's here hanging on to position number 3. Would love to still come home with a podium. Has 8 seconds between himself and Clinton Woodby. Woodby really has not gained anything on that 318 machine. So as long as Catania, as I said before, keeps it on the racetrack, doesn't run into any more issues, could still bring this truck home with a top 3 run. And I think as heartbreaking as it'll be to come home with the top 3, I think for the 318 ride, he'll take it. He'll take it. I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse. His day could be done at this point, but luckily enough, a top 3 run, still a good point stay, still a solid drive out there on the speedway. But yeah, it is Rusty Modesty. You got it right there, Diggs. Modesty is on cruise control right now. He doesn't have to worry, doesn't have to stress. He can just kind of keep pace. He doesn't have to push this truck. He's got 27 seconds, 28 seconds now. He's just got to bring it home. He just got to bring it home, not make any mistakes, not put himself into a bad position, and he'll pull this 6th ride up and into victory lane here this evening as he heads on down and through the Ullman straight here at Sebring. The Ullman straightaway all the way down into Sunset Bend here, corner 17. He heads into that 17th corner right now. Good corner here. Beautiful corner. I love how it's kind of got that double corner feel to it. And underneath that bridge, and right back into the straightaway underneath the other bridge to pit road here. And there he is down across the start-finish line. And he will complete lap number 48. So only 2 more laps left to go here for Rusty Modesty. 28 seconds out in front here. Man, what a lucky break. A great run, great drive nonetheless here for Modesty. For Modesty, Matthew Catania, Clinton Woodby, Tyler Stevenson, man, they've been the class of the field throughout the day, especially for Catania, Modesty, and Woodby, man. Those battles that they were having throughout this middle portion, man, those three were just neck and neck for so many laps, and right there tight together until we finally saw him kind of come back down pit road. That's where we saw, Clinton Woodby kind of fall back a little bit between himself, but then Modesty and Catania were right there again, tight together for another 10, 12 laps out there on the racetrack until these final pit stops, and then that contact between the 318 and the 2 rider Harold Rothery, and unfortunately for Matthew Catania, that contact was all it took to take him out of this race, and unfortunately now stuck back in third and just kind of trying to bring it home here with a top 3 run to salvage the day. But for Modesty, it gave him a good advantage, a huge lead, and he is looking to cash in here this evening at Sebring International Speedway to put himself up and into victory lane. Stevenson doing a great job here. Solid run for the 51 truck as he'll come home in that second position, but any late race mistakes. Catania holding on to third as Clinton Woodby back in position at number 4. He'll continue to look for more. Caleb Kleinert in that 5th position with Justin Lawson, Colton Hardy, the 33 at Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Nick Gardner, and the 3 rider Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 here in this race. Rooster Rodden there in 11th. Paul Durkee back in position number 12, the last truck on the lead lap here, as could be a good battle here between Nick Gardner, Keith Prince, and Rooster Rodden late in this race. We'll have to wait and see if any of these drivers make a mistake or if they can find that late race gear to try to catch up to a couple drivers around them, maybe gain a couple extra positions and put themselves maybe a spot better here late in this race and into a better position here as Rusty Modesty down and out of corner number 1. He sees that white flag fly. So for Rusty Modesty, last lap here for that 6 ride. Last lap here this evening from Sebring International Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying this racing action, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, and make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button right now. Become part of the Peacemaker family here this evening. Hit that subscribe button, become part of the Fam Jam here this evening. Is out in front, the 6 ride, the Sinclair Dyno Care machine of Rusty Modesty out in front here. The RMD Graphics and Wraps Toyota sitting out in front. He's on cruise control. He's got a 29-second lead here, almost 30 seconds between himself and our second-place driver, Tyler Stevenson, and with half a track left to go for Rusty Modesty, he's just got to bring it home here. He's just got to make it the rest of the way around the track. You do see Nate Cogdell, sees him coming, pulls out of the way, and that's a great move there for the QH Designs winning bid, CCR Esports Ducky Donuts, number 00 Ryan. Moving out of the way there, allowing our race leader the straightaway and the clean racetrack here to try and put himself up and into the winner's circle here this evening as the winning bid Grand Prix at the Sebring here this evening. Looking like it's going to go to the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. Only one more corner left to go here for Modesty. As the Yule men straight away here in the Sunset Bend. All that is between him and the checkered flag here this evening. As Rusty Modesty with 30 seconds between himself and victory here this evening as our second place driver 30 seconds back behind him and only about 3 seconds left to go to get to the start finish line is down and out of the final corner across the line. It is Rusty Modesty who picks up the win here this evening at Sebring International Speedway. Rusty Modesty gets it done and he will get ready to celebrate here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner Rusty Modesty. Modesty picks up the dub and he gets ready to burn down the house here this evening, man. Look at that Sinclair Dyno Care truck as he gets to celebrate here. Everyone else going to be envious. Everyone else going to be a little bit jealous as our second place driver Tyler Stevenson just comes down across the start finish line. Here comes our third place driver, the 318 of Matthew Catania. Clinton Woodby will come home in position number 4 as he exits corner number 17 down across the line. There's our fourth place driver here this evening. Caleb Kleinert will come home rounding out our top 5. Heck of a run there for him. Here comes Justin Lawson down through corner 17. He will come home in that 6th position, binding a mistake here out of the final corner. But for the Masked Owl Technologies number 20 Ryan, down and out of corner number 17, it is Lawson who comes home in that 6th position. Colton Hardy, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Nick Gardner, and Keith Prince rounding out the field here this evening. But it's all Rusty Modesty as Rusty picks up the dub and pulls himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see some congratulations up in the comment section right now for Rusty Modesty, man. That was a great race, great run, great performance by all of these drivers, man. Hell of a show here this evening from the Metalheads Truck Series in the winning bid NASCAR Car Breaks and Diecast Grand Prix at Sebring International Speedway here this evening. And Modesty able to pick up the dub. He's going to celebrate here. He's not done yet. He decided, you know what, I better go for another lap, a victory lap here this evening. I feel like after 50 laps, I'd be tuckered out. I don't know if I'd want to do a whole nother lap out there or not, but for the 6th ride, he's pumped up. He's excited. Big win here this evening for him, and we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interview is going to come up next. We'll see if we can get Rusty and the rest of our top 3 up here into the booth. See if we can get Rusty up here right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Rusty Modesty. Hey, Rusty, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Hey, Aaron.
Rusty, man, what a run, what a drive here in this one, man. Take us back through it. Obviously, a little bit of strategy, but it was a lot of tight racing here all night long between yourself, the 92 of Clinton Woodby, and that 318 right of Matthew Catanias. It seemed like you 3 were the trucks to beat here pretty much all evening long, and it came down right there to the very end. Obviously, a little contact between the 318 and some lap traffic sent him sideways as he was coming with a couple lap pressure tires to your back bumper. You were going to try to hold him off for the next, 9 laps or so of that race, and then all of a sudden he disappears from your rear view mirror and you're able to drive off with a big win here this evening, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind.
Yeah, man. I mean, we had really good pace here tonight. Putting down some good lap times, consistent. Not gonna lie, a few off tracks, few incidents here and there, but nothing too crazy or critical. Decided to stay out, or not take tires. I should say that first fuel run. And boy, that put me in a world of hurt because both Woodby and Matthew got several seconds on me. But was able to make it up there towards the end. Me and Matthew had really good battle there. I was really shocked how close we came out to each other on that last stint. Him coming out of the pits and me coming around turn 1. So it was a little too close for comfort. Sadly, him and Harold did get into each other there. I think Harold was just fixated on me and let me by, and he didn't see that Catania wasn't that far behind me. So he went to join the track right as Catania went to take the track, and it just sucks that happened because I think we would have had a really good battle. I'm sweating now, but I'm sure if that didn't happen, I'd be sweating more.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely would have made you work a whole lot harder there late in this race. But after, you see Catania go around, you see Stevenson having to make his final pit stop, and you are so close to him. You look at that relative, and you see that you got, 25, 27 second advantage here between yourself and their second and third place drivers. Obviously didn't really back the pace down too much, but you're kind of on cruise control there for those final 8-9 laps. You take us kind of through those laps. You kind of know that you've got this one in the bank. You just can't make a mistake. You can't run into an issue like Catania did, and you can bring it home here to a pretty easy win in the second final few laps.
Yeah, I was just trying to be really cautious around traffic and any lap cars, and just kind of be gentle around them. There are a few on our team that we're trying to kind of save some rubber, and I did the exact opposite. I just went as hard as I could every lap, and my tires showed, and they felt pretty bad after. So But yeah, man, I just ran every lap like it was the last lap, and um, got a decent lead and checked out. So
Absolutely. Once you got that lead, man, it was game over for everybody else. Excuse me, I had to sneeze right there. My gosh, that came out of nowhere.
oh, good.
uh, but yeah, once you kind of got that lead, and obviously no caution flags, you're checked out here. It was clear sailing for you, a nice, easy, Sunday kind of drive here for those final 8, 9 laps as you're able to bring it into victory lane. Looked like you were not too tuckered out. You were able to kind of do your best. Shane Van Gisbergen trying to drift around the racetrack, going for your celebration lap here. I don't know, after 50 hard fought laps here at this racetrack, I don't know if I would have been going any farther. I think I would have been toast. I would have been parked right there in corner one.
Tires were
And
good for it.
yeah, exactly. Rusty, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive here for you tonight, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great drive and big win here at Sebring International Speedway?
Yeah, shout out to as always Misfit Motorsports. Love racing with these guys. It's good fun every week. Thanks to Nate and Skyler and kind of everyone that has involvement in the league and puts this on. It's a really engaging league. So um, really happy and thankful for what those guys put together. Um, and then yeah, shout out to you. Thanks for the broadcast, man. Friends and family love watching it. I feel like I've been talking to you a lot here recently, so um, good to hear from you again. And shout out to Lindsay Fitzmaurice.
Beautiful, Rusty. Heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. Hopefully, many more trips here up into the booth for you throughout the rest of this year and into next year as well. Here with this beautiful truck series and many more victories, hopefully for you as well, brother. Heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening. Congratulations on the win, and we'll catch you back in here for the next one next Monday night.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Rusty Modesties. Rusty picks up the dub and pulls himself up and into victory lane here at Sebring International Speedway for the winning bid Grand Prix. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher of the 51 ride, Tyler Stevenson. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tyler, man, solid run for you here this evening. Early on, we see you take the race lead. You're able to lead the first few laps, and then all of a sudden you get some pressure there from your teammate Matthew Catania right on your back bumper. And as he goes to make the move around you, you end up making, one of your few mistakes here this evening off the racetrack. You almost clobber a wall there into corner number 3. Luckily enough, not too much damage, and you're able to get back onto the racetrack, but kind of that damage is already done. You fell back into about that, 5th, 6th position. You're able to hang out there for a while throughout that first stage. I thought you were going to be right there, though. Part of that battle between Modesty, Catania, and Woodby there throughout the middle portion and end of this race, but it just seemed like after that restart, you kind of just got hung up back there a little bit through some of that traffic with Durkee kind of in the mix there, and the 20 ride of Lawson not coming back down pit road. You lost a little bit more track position and kind of just set you back there a little bit. And then obviously throughout the rest of this race, it was just keeping pace, keeping yourself on the racetrack. Woodby kind of fell back a little bit there. Catania ran into his issues with the lap traffic, and it allows you to jump up here and into a solid second place run, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind.
Yeah, I mean, got a decent start. I was like, I got some speed today. I'm not usually a road course person, so I mean, being able to run top 5 was great. Yeah, I just hit a awkward bump on that, and that just kind of got unsettled the truck there. But we got it back together. Just ran about that 4th spot. That's about what speed we had today. I think in a perfect world we would have finished 4th, but yeah, I knew I was gonna get an EOL at the stage, so that's why I had to drop back. So I was just trying to maximize the stage points, but honestly, the guy in that EOL actually helped me on the restart because I got a bunch of positions and there was a lot of drama up front, and I got up into like the top 7 on the first lap, so it didn't really affect me. And then it was just kind of hit your marks. Didn't really have any major mistakes after that. So I mean, it was just being consistent, working at it. And I was like, I threw a little 2 tire strategy, stayed out long. Maybe it would get me a position. I probably would have gotten 3rd if Matthew didn't have his problems, but with Matthew having his problems, allowed me to get by him, and we got a 2nd place with no drama, didn't wreck anybody, no wreck. So I mean, I'll take a nice point stay, and we'll head on to the mystery race next week. I'm excited for that. Hopefully, it's one of the tracks I like.
Yeah, absolutely. Head into a mystery race. You never know how that's going to play out or where we may end up. But here tonight, you take advantage of, no major caution flags or anything else, no major carnage out there for yourself, and able to put yourself up here into a second place run in our fourth race of the season. Tyler, who'd you like to thank for another great run, another great performance here this evening as you're able to come home here in second?
Yeah, I gotta thank Caleb and Matt for at the CCR team for giving me the chance to race. I've already put up 2 second places, so hopefully we can get that win soon for them. But I mean, it's been really fun racing with the boys, Matthew, Caleb, Nick, Ashley. Unfortunately, Ashley just had a lot of problems today, so he was a little hit and he kind of went soon. But it's just I like to thank all my teammates. I mean, well, we're working pretty well together. I'm having fun, and it's been a great start. So I'm excited for what's next.
Absolutely, brother. Well, hey, that's what it's all about, man. Having fun and having those teammates to make it that much funner, and teamwork makes the dream work. And here tonight, two of you guys back up into the podium here with a solid second and third place run for yourself and Catania. And another good performance for you, man. Obviously, just carrying that momentum and obviously looking to potentially one of these nights find your way up here into victory lane. We can't wait to see that 51 ride up here first into the broadcast booth post-race. But Tyler, tonight just not quite your night. Modesty able to keep himself on the racetrack and out of trouble himself, and is settle in here for second, brother. Congrats on another great run, a great performance. We can't wait to see what you got in store for us next week at the mystery track.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Tyler Stevenson, as Tyler comes home in position number 2. Now we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher, the 318 of Matthew Catania. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Matthew, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening. Obviously, we'll go through a lot of the race and a lot of the problems and battles that you had here this evening, but that one big problem late in this one as you come out of the pits, you're right there with Modesty. You got a couple lap better tires. You're trying to, work your way back to his back bumper, hoping to battle for this race win. Contact between you and the 2 ride. Harold Rothery obviously looked like he was trying to get up off the track to allow our race leader to get by him, and I don't think he realized that you were going to be there that quick, and all of a sudden you were right into his front end as you kind of moved up the track there just in front of him. I don't think he was expecting that or realized that you were even going to be there, and he couldn't get out of the binders quick enough for that corner and gets into your back end, hooks you up, and turns you around right there. And unfortunately, it was kind of an onslaught of things to come as rear end damage just kind of kept making you fall farther and farther back here to the third position.
Yeah, man, that it blows. We were fast all night. I mean, Clinton, Rusty, and I, we were all under a blanket the entire race, and I feel like I had something for Rusty there at the end. With having fresher tires, I felt like we had something for him in the last 5, but yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, he rejoined in the worst spot possible. That is in the racing line. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should have given him a little more room. Can't now, It's one of those deals. It's just trying to get everything I could to stay with Rusty and get the best outcome, but that didn't happen. That rear end damage after that, it killed me. I couldn't get through turn 1, turn 17, any of the turns really. It just is what it is.
Yeah, definitely an onslaught of issues there, but luckily enough, you're able to kind of keep pace there, not really fall too far back, and able to still come home with a solid top 3 run. Obviously, good point stay for yourself being top 3 and getting some good stage points, so it wasn't a complete loss of a day, but obviously when you lose that opportunity to go after and try to battle, at least give yourself a chance at winning this race, even if you would have came home in second or still fell back to third, you want that opportunity. You want that chance to go after it. And unfortunately here tonight, you didn't quite get that there at the end of this race. But, man, hell of a show, hell of a run that you guys are putting on for us, man. You, Rusty, Clinton would be for multiple laps, man. We're just nose to tail out there on the racetrack, door to door, just putting on a wonderful show for all the fans in the stands.
Yeah, I had a feeling Rusty was going to be fast. He's always fast at road courses. And Clinton's usually pretty good at road courses too, so that wasn't too much of a surprise. They were two of the main guys that I was really worried about tonight. But yeah, hell of a race between them two, and good win to Rusty. He definitely earned that one.
Yeah, definitely earned that one. I think he was the only driver throughout this race that went inside of that 2 minute and 10 second bracket, almost hit 209 even here. He's a 209.21 for his best lap
Yeah.
time and virtually almost a second quicker than everybody else here this evening.
Yeah, he was definitely faster in the short run. I mean, he was very consistent too. We were all, like I said, we were all right there with each other after a couple laps once we got heat in the tires. Um, he was able to hit it better, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But, man, tough break, tough way to finish this race. But you're able to hang on. Another top three run. Another good points night for you, Matthew. You're in race number 4. Back up onto the podium, brother. Who would you like to thank for another great performance and great run out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Caleb, Nick, Tyler, and Ashley, my teammates. We practiced quite a bit throughout the week. Nick and Caleb both we practiced a lot, and that showed pretty good. Nick got stuck with a penalty at one of his stops, so that kind of ruined his race, but he still pulled out a ninth. So I'd like to thank them and my girlfriend for watching every Monday, and you for putting the broadcast on, and Nate for putting the league on.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matthew, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action. Next Monday is our mystery race. You never know where we may be, where we may end up. So that's going to be very exciting to, kind of figure out where we're going to be even racing there next Monday night. But hopefully it's a track that you're pretty good at. Maybe another trip up here, another shot at putting your truck back up into victory lane.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope it's a dirt track.
Beauty, we look forward to it and hope that it's a dirt track as well, brother.
All right, see you, man.
See you, mister. Have a good night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Matthew Catania. Catania coming home here in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive for that 3:18 machine, man. What a run, what a drive for him here this evening, man. Heartbreaker the way that one had to end there for Catania, but man, that was a crazy race all evening long. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here in this one, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here this evening, and we will get you guys back in here tomorrow night. The HCK Beagles Truck Series back underway. A few of the drivers that are here in this series will be in attendance and racing tomorrow night as well, so make sure you guys have those bell notifications turned on. Make sure you guys are tuned in and catch and watch some of the beautiful truck action tomorrow night as well here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce campaigns. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce campaigns. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Tires grip tight, flames dance all steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly.